Alcohol beverage companies have aimed an inordinate amount of advertising at blacks. Billboards in inner cities and in magazines. Lots of ads on television.
$1 million bass counter. First they go bounce the ounce and they get them. They spent $288 million sitting there waiting for the fish and don't know what the hell it is. Oh, let me tell you about Shorty.
Truth Minister Paul Scott, Militant Militia, here with a special message for Snoop Dogg. Now, I'm reading in the Wall Street Journal how you're the new spokesperson for Colt 45. I guess Billy D. Williams got too old and they got you. And of course, Pabst Brewing Company puts out Colt 45. So I guess that makes you the Pabst Blue Ribbon Pimp of the Month. And they're using you to pimp poison to our children. They have something coming out called Colt 45 Blast. Look at the symbolism of that. Colt 45 Blast. It blasts the minds of our young people. Snoop Dogg, of all people, you ought to know the damage that alcohol has done to the black community, black and Latino community. Not only that, all oppressed communities, the damage that alcohol has done. You know, 20 years ago, you were doing those St. Ives commercials, you know, going on these rap shows and doing the St. Ives commercial, promoting that poison almost 20 years ago. Seems like you would have learned your lesson, but I guess you haven't, because you're back to destroy the minds of a new generation and send them to Alcoholics Anonymous. Not a good look, Snoop. In case you don't know the history of alcohol and how it's affected not only African people, people of African descent, but also our indigenous brothers and sisters or the Native Americans. Go back and read Capitalism and Slavery by Eric Williams, and it talks about how rum was used in the slave trade. See, alcohol has always been used in one form or another against oppressed people. They used to trade us for rum back in the slavery days, during the time of the transatlantic slave trade. Also, in this country, they used to trade it with the indigenous people and Native Americans, got some of them hooked on alcohol. So they've always used alcohol as a tool to oppress us, and it's a shame that you're going to pimp this poison to our people in 2011. Read this book, brother, Uprising, by Yusuf Jah and Sister Shakir. It talks about how in your own neighborhood during the 1990s, how malt liquor was sold on every corner like it is in many black neighborhoods, and the effect it had and how it contributed to black-on-black crime, black-on-black violence. Now, you know Chuck D once raised the question, Chuck D, a Public Enemy, once asked, how many times have you seen a black fight a black after downing a bottle or a six-pack, or malt liquor six-pack? You got to think about that. It's also, you got to deal with the symbolisms. Read Dr. Frances Cress Welson's book, The ISIS Papers. She really breaks down the symbolism, and also Coach Powell's book, The 40-Ounce Scandal, and they break down the symbolism of malt liquor. Now, you're dealing with a Colt 45. What is a Colt 45? Like Chuck D said once again, when you put a Colt 45 to your mouth, you're really putting a Colt 45 or a gun to your brain. Think about it. It's no accident that they use these symbolisms. It's no accident that they market it to the black community. And still, you really need to read this book, the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms, because by the Council of Black Internal Affairs, because it really talks about people who have sold the black community out. As a chapter that's dealing with how hip-hop was used to sell malt liquor during the 90s. And it seems, brother, I'm appealing to you. Don't do this to our people. Don't sell our people out for 30 pieces of silver. Don't make the same mistakes you made with St. Ives with the new generation. Look around and see the damage you've done. But I guess, hey, like the scriptures say, as a dog returns to his vomit, so does a fool return to his folly. Truth Minister Paul Scott, Militant Militia. Peace.
It's the white man who controls the large enough sale of whiskey and wine. It's the white man. You don't have any distillery. You don't own Finley's. You don't own Old Overholt or Seagram. You don't put the seal on that bottle of whiskey. It's the white man who gives you the deck of cards and the dice that you use to gamble with. It's the white man. And after he sell them to you, he gets you with them and puts you in jail for using them.
Alcohol beverage companies have aimed an inordinate amount of advertising at blacks.